Hey, here we are with the video on how to do the Venus Transit Lab. What we're going to do here is we're going to use the transit of Venus to determine the number of kilometers in the astronomical unit. Off of the thumb drive, we'll see that there's a batch file, transitlab.bat. Basically start that up. File login. Then what we'll do is we'll go to Run 2004 Venus Transit. From there we need to load, we're going to have data from 3 different sites. So we're going to go to Image Database, Image Directory, Load, and here we see the 3 different sites. We need to expand this a little bit. Canary Islands, India, and Australia. Also notice that the information here runs, there are different time spans. What this means, and because we need to do our final measurements all at the same time, the only time span that's covered by all of these is from 7:05 to 8:50. That's in universal time. That's Greenwich Mean Time. So, and we're going to do it every 10 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to load images every 10 minutes starting at 7:10 and going to 8:50. So first we're going to load the Canary Islands. So what I'm going to do, just hold the control key down, 7:10, 7, and 8:50. Then go to File, Image Database, Load Selected Images. And as we see here, as it loads the images, we can see the path of Venus as it goes across the screen. Once all the images are loaded, we hit OK. Okay, so now we have the various images loaded. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the first one, go over here to File, Image, Measure, and I click on that. It automatically centers it. It records the information as to the source, the date, and the time, and then I just hit Record. Then I go to the next one. File, Image, Measure. Click it again. It centers it up. I hit Record. And so I go do this for each one. Okay, so now I've recorded the position of Venus on all of these images. Then I'm going to go to Images, Clear All Images, remove the images. Then I'll go to File, Image Database, Image Directory, Load, and this time I'll load the data set from India. Again, we're going to be working from 7:10 to 8:50, so I start selecting each one, load selected images, okay, hit OK, and again, File, Image, Measure, click on it, and record. And now we're going to select, once we've done everything for India, we're going to select Australia. And again, from 7:05, 7:10 to about 8:50. Okay, so we've got one here. File, Image Database, Load Selected Images. And it loads up the next set. Okay, so again we select the first image in our set. Now one of the things I just realized is that I don't have to do File, Image Select. I can just simply click on Venus, hit Record, go to the next image, click on Venus, hit Record, go to the next image, click on Venus. That makes life so much easier. Okay, so now we have made measurements for the Venus transit from all 3 different sites. The next thing to do is to go to Analysis, Plot Fit Data. So here we see the three lines down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go View Detail, so I can see that in more detail. I'm going to do Curve Fit Linear, basically to run the best straight line through those 3 bits of observations. Then we're going to select an observation date and time. And so let's pick, what we can do is we can move it forward, and there we see as we move it around 7:50 to 8 o'clock or so, we can see the observations at all 3 different sites. So as we move it there, we can see that it goes all the way from one end to the other. All right. So I'm just going to pick a time. I'll pick 8:15. Okay, now we've selected to do a linear fit on the data. We've selected a time. So now what we need to do is print the window. We're going to print it as a Microsoft XPS document writer. We're going to call it, again, XPS, and we'll call it screen.xps, and we'll replace the one that's there. That way we'll have a screenshot here. No, we want to do the fit parameters. So we want to get these fit parameters. That shows how well the data fit to our linear estimation. So I'm going to say list, save data as displayed. And I'll say linear fit.txt, so I'll save that. Okay, then I'll close that out. Data, Sun Planet Baseline. Again, this is where we're going to get the information that we use for the Excel spreadsheet to do our computations. List, save data as displayed, and this is essentially the ephemeris data here, and we'll save that. Okay, so now we've got the screenshot, the linear fit, and the parallax data. One of the things that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take that screenshot, which is an XPS. We're going to want to actually do a snip. So I can do the snipping tool. Haul that over to here, do a new snip, and I'll basically take that. Then I will save as. I'll put that in my documents, Venus Transit, and we'll call that screen.png. Okay, close that out, close that out. So now what I've got is I've got my text file, my linear fit, and my screenshot that I'm going to put into Lab Report. Okay, now I've also downloaded the Transit Lab Excel spreadsheet, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this information here. I'm going to look at the parallax and then the projected baseline for each one of these measurements. So there's a measured parallax from TD to UD and a projected baseline, a measured parallax from TD to LE and a projected baseline, and a parallax from UD to LE and a projected baseline. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that, we're going to plug that into the Excel spreadsheet to allow us to do the computation. So again, TD to UD, projected baseline, parallax, projected baseline, parallax. So basically copy that. What that will do is that will give us 3 values of the astronomical unit in kilometers. It will give us the percentage error for each one, and then it will give us the average of the of all three, and then the final percentage error of that average. You're going to want to include this information here in your lab report data as well. So there'll be 4 things you're going to have in your lab report data. In addition to those other things, we also want to get the raw data, the raw measurement data. So I go to File, Measurement Data, View Edit, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say List, Save Data as Displayed, Text. And what this is going to do is I'm going to give me all of my measurement information. Okay, Venus measurement.txt. Okay, so there's going to be 5 things that you're going to have in your data for this lab report. You're going to have the raw measurements. You're going to have the linear fit. You're going to have the parallax report information. You're going to have the screenshot of the screen. And then finally, you're going to have the analysis information as given here in the Excel spreadsheet. So you're going to copy these cells from the Excel spreadsheet in there. So there's 5 pieces of information that you're going to have with your lab report.